One of the last holidays I spent with my extended family was in the late 2010s. I was sitting with my great uncle in his living room watching his copy of A Christmas Story on DVD when he paused the movie to go use the restroom. He'd survived brain cancer in the years before we met for the first time in my teens, so both his mobility and cognitive function were impaired. There was never any telling how long things like a bathroom break could take for him, but long enough for the DVD save screen to appear and bounce around the television. This was also the final Christmas before my parents decided to give me my very first smartphone, and in hindsight, this seemingly inane moment of waiting for my great uncle to finish pissing marked the end of something. This would be the final Christmas where I didn't have access to unlimited stimuli, the final Christmas where I was forced to sit with my own boredom and make games on the spot. This was the final Christmas where I wondered what would happen if the DVD logo actually hit the corner of the screen, or what would happen to the imaginary man running along the telephone wires if my dad suddenly hit the car brakes. It was the final Christmas where I cared about how well I'd remembered A Christmas Story, its narrative beats, dialogues, quips word for word, words to be felt if not understood. It was the final Christmas when the screen was an object meant to be shared and owned alongside friends and family. I mean, the DVD share screen was something we turned into a collective experience, right? We were all playing the same unspoken game, wanting the same outcome, to witness that little neon logo hit the corner and watch what direction it'd go next, how long it would take for it to do it again, if ever. Now, though, if someone needs to step away and the film must be paused, it's isolating. We retreat to our little bubbles. Social media feeds cater to our preferences, biases, and unspoken prejudices. We may hear the TikToks or Instagram reels of those near us, but they don't communicate much about the people we're in community with. Only an algorithmic self, a self with plastic interiorities shaped by hearts and numbers, a self we perform when the room has one less person in it. When this happens today in 2026, sometimes I try to imagine the man from the telephone wires running along the rooftops of Roku City. I see so much chaos, so much peril. I see a mecha kaiju, an erupting volcano, references to movies I cannot see nor pull from a shelf and crack open with my hands. I see ads for movies with no plans of a physical release, stories of people losing films in their digital libraries because they technically never owned them in the first place. I see the little ownerships we traded away for the accessibility in streaming film, thus our rights to it, are becoming increasingly divided among the same handful of companies. I see how the DVD save screen was a symbol not only of my ownership of a movie, the individual right to watch whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want, but the ownership of my imagination. I see how Roku City tells me how to imagine, tells me everything but the man running the telephone wires or jumping between the rooftops because it was never designed to be a lived in city. It was designed to be an aesthetical object, more stimuli, a conduit for advertisements, reminders that the rights and forms of self I took for granted are being divided alongside the films themselves. And when I stripped all of this away and I sit with this screen, this memory of suspense in waiting for my great uncle to return, not knowing if he'd return, meant the end of sitting with the absence of another person, the end of sitting in silence with my thoughts, the volume of myself, not knowing how much of it is mine anymore, or how much of it will still be mine as the world continues to digitize and we piss it all away.